Welcome,
Hey everyone.
everyone.
I'm going to do a quick intro. Hey everyone, welcome back to another session. Super excited to introduce my guest here, who is very prepared and ready to get going. And Eddie is the CEO of a company called For Media Marketing, and she'll share some case studies.
Awesome. Super excited. Thanks for the introduction, Natalie. Today, I'm going to be going pretty quickly for you guys. This is a very dense presentation. So I'm going to show you guys how we took an offer from $0. It was actually at $10,000 a month to be exact, to 2.8 million in 5 months, and then 3.2 million in month six. So couple things I think that's important. Here's kind of how we did this. We did this with totally cold traffic. We actually worked with this person and they were super skeptical. So we weren't allowed to use any of their keywords on Google. We weren't allowed to bid on them. We weren't allowed to pull any of the organic traffic. And everything we did was all through paid ads. So I'm going to show you exactly the strategies that we did to do so. And our main mechanism here to sell, as I show you all the details and the little things that we added on, is a weekly recorded webinar. So this wasn't live. We just called it live every Saturday at noon, and then we pushed people all week. We'd spend about $150,000 a week in ads, sending people to register for this webinar on Saturday, and then they would show up on Saturday, and then we would have a replay on Sunday, which would then get more purchases as well. So real quick, quick introduction. My name is Eddie Maalouf. I go by Dada at home. I have a beautiful daughter named Yolana, beautiful wife named Terry. I've spoken on all the biggest stages you think of. And my business for media marketing manages over 108-figure brands. Last year, we did over $700 million in revenue, not as a company, but for our clients. Speaking of our clients, here's some that you've probably heard of. Prestige Labs, that's Alex Hormozzi's brand. Booty Bag was on Shark Tank. Snow Teeth Whitening, one of the biggest Shopify stores in the world. ClickFunnels, I'm sure you know. West Coast Customs are the people who did Pimp My Ride for all my 90s people here. So kind of quick intro about myself. All I ask in return, taking my time today to show you guys things that I haven't shared with anyone else publicly. If you can just shoot me a follow on Instagram, post a story at some point of my speech and tag me so I can repost you as well if you find this valuable. So let me show you the numbers. I don't know anyone who's actually doing this, but here's as transparent as possible. You can see we did a launch in October. So you can see on the left side are the dates, on the right side are the final numbers, and the return on ad spend all the way at the end. So you can see we did a launch in October. We did $1.2 million. This was a launch. We did a massive push, huge ROI on ad spend because there's a lot of email lists involved, et cetera. And we didn't have any upsells. You can see there all the way through, halfway down this list, there was no purchase upsells. We weren't doing anything. It was hard to get a return on ads like we wanted to. We were getting like a 2x return, sometimes a 1x return. And then we started brainstorming how we could add that. And then if you scroll all the way down, you can look 227 to 305, basically February and March. We're doing 5x ROAS, 7x ROAS, 5x ROAS, 4x ROAS on cold traffic without a back. I'm only talking ads to a webinar, to a purchase, to some upsell. So I'll kind of walk you through exactly how that. Let's get these slides here. And just as proof, here's a screenshot from my phone on Stripe for a 4-week trailing period, $3.2 million. And you can see on the left, that's a screenshot from Hyros. If you guys use Hyros, that's a screenshot from Hyros showing you like the growth that we've had. And you can see every Saturday that giant spike. And that's because the webinar is running on Saturdays. So with that being said, let's jump into the 3 steps that I use essentially to get us to where we're at. So number one is what I call a power prospecting system. So look, it's super important to get people to register for a webinar or free training or a call, whatever it is. But it's even more important to just gather a ton of opt-ins, a ton of emails, people with intent of some sort. Right? Now, it's one thing to sit here and give away all your stuff for free. I see a lot of people doing this. Download this contract for free, download this PDF for free, download this guide for free. All those things are cool, but at the end of the day, you're just getting a ton of emails of people who really have no intent of buying from you. And if you're already putting out so much free content on your YouTube, on your Instagram, on your shorts, et cetera, there's already so much free content for people to engage with, then it's kind of silly to give them more free stuff just to get an opt-in. I'll show you kind of why. So basically what we did was we shifted all our free stuff to $1. So a couple things happen here when you shift it to $1. One, the psychology is different, right? Like me just getting something for free is completely different psychology than, even though it's just $1, for me to go get my wallet out. I have to get my wallet out and then I have to pull out a credit card and I have to type it in to go through. So one, the intent's a lot higher. And the crazy part is, you might think, wow, I'm going to get a lot less opt-ins. On that same page, we're giving away something for free. we're getting 70% opt-in. When we made it a dollar, we're getting 50% opt-in. It's not that big of a difference compared to how much more traffic we're sending to the dollar one now. And so number one, now all the people on my email list are intent buyers of some sort. They've transacted with me. So that's number one. Number two, I can now upsell them stuff. So you can see here an upsell of $25 right after it. Then we added another upsell for $297 and then a split pay of the $297 if they don't take it. So now instead of someone coming in for free, just getting a free guide that they want, we're actually pushing them to get a dollar. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal breaker. If you don't want to give me a dollar after all the free stuff I'm giving you online, then I quite frankly don't even want you to be on my list. I don't even want to work with you. So that's kind of psychology there. So these are really high intent people. We're basically upselling them a couple other things. And the cool part is now they're in our funnel to then send them to the actual checkout page, sorry, the registration page for the webinar too. So now we're making money on the back end. So you can see here, besides even just doing it for free, we started doing it paid. So instead of just leaving it in the comments of our YouTube videos, etc., for people to claim this dollar contract, we actually run ads to it on a weekly basis. We don't spend a ton of money because it's a dollar often at the end of the day, but the average order is over $100 because of these upsells that we have. And you can see here the final returns here. You can see how much money these are making every week and how much we're actually spending on them. It's absolutely amazing. Once you take into the fact that they're buying the purchase on the webinar within 2 weeks of them opting in, you start seeing the return of 7x, 6x, 9.5x, 7.6x, 6x. This is a really cool strategy that you can use in your business to start changing that. And then another thing that we did, you can see here, I'm going to show you the editing style and little things that make a difference in the creative. So you can see here, week by week, total cost per opt-in, we're getting up to 21, $22 an opt-in. And then we ended up spending way more. So like, look at this. We basically went from $12 to 22. Everyone knows what this is like. You spend on ads and then it just gets more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. So basically what we did as we saw it getting more expensive, we started shifting our creative strategy. And when we were only getting, 3,000 opt-ins at $22, we started getting 8,000, 10,000 opt-ins at $13, $14. So we cut it by like a third and we doubled and tripled what we were doing in regards to opt-in. So it's not like we spent less and got better results. We spent way more and also got better results. So here's kind of a high-row screenshot. So you can see this is in January, $20 a lead. This is just transparent numbers here in February. And this is what we did. So we did 2.24 million with only 380K in ad spend. I don't know who else is doing these kind of numbers. Pretty crazy. And then here, proof in March. So months after that, 2 months after that in January, we got our leads down to $13 a lead and we're actually spending way more money as well. So here's kind of how we did it. So originally we had these, we were basically doing creatives. This person's walking through his house. We did some graphics, etc. Those started fatiguing over time. So what we noticed was creatives that were like, cause this is a real estate offer, creatives that were like live in the house that he was talking about or whatever it is, seem to have the most results. So he basically did another round of shooting, all selfie style stuff, where he's essentially driving by the places. So I'll give you an example. I don't know.
All right. So I'm visiting a project that I made
He's basically
$60,000 on. I didn't have to buy the
around the
project.
property.
Don't have to manage the contractor. Don't have to deal with anything. In fact, I don't even own the project. That's the freaking coolest thing. See these contractors over here working? I don't have to manage them. I don't have to pay them. With the Gator method, a strategy that I created this year, I teach people how to get into real estate transactions that are brand new, people that are experienced. You don't have to find the deals. You don't have to find the buyers. You don't have to deal with any of that stuff. You literally insert yourself in the transaction and you amplify everybody else's success around you. So if you guys want to learn how to do the Gator method on stuff like this, make $16,000 in like, I don't know, it took us like 6 hours or so. Click the link down below. I want to give you guys a training on exactly how we do this.
So curiosity's there. Here's how I don't own this house. I don't even manage these contractors and I still made money and he's in the actual house itself. So as opposed to being in his own home, whatever, these are also similar concepts, but he's driving by the house. So there's like a little bit more movement. He's in the car and then he's showing the house behind him in the window. And then here, this is a classic like TikTok viral content type stuff. He basically took a screenshot of someone who's making money in Gator. And then he's basically talking about how he did it. But again, very key here, we're leaving curiosity open. We're not giving them all the answers. We just want them to be curious enough to click on and go to the training. So then we made one last change. So I'll show you kind of how this made a big difference. So then we started running creatives with a different style of editing. So basically what we did was just to get technical here for your editors, instead of using just Adobe Premiere, we use something called DaVinci Resolve. And basically what it does is, I don't know what they do exactly, but they basically take the person out as their own frame. And then now we're able to put
We
text
created a
behind.
challenge to get you integrated into real estate. And speaking of integration, we actually utilize AI technology to do all the lead generation and all the follow-up for you. We brought a community of people that are more experienced in doing active deals that will hold your hand. And we're calling this the AI Challenge. So go to myaIchallenge.com, sign up, come join a community of people that are actively doing deals and letting the robots do all the heavy lifting. I look forward to seeing you in that challenge.
So this style of editing was super popular, got our cost per leads even lower. So just kind of a quick bonus, you can use those two software stacks and be able to get that out. So number two, which I think is the most important step here to making all this money that we're making, it's called the problem pushing rule. So this is how I think about upsells in general, right? And you're going to really, 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 really like this strategy. If you're going to implement it, I think you're going to make so much more money. So basically, once this is all back to psychology, right? Once a new buyer has made a purchase, they're officially problem and solution aware, right? Like if someone goes to your webinar, they attend, they listen to everything you're saying, and then they buy, they're obviously problem aware and they're solution aware, meaning they know that there's a solution and they're paying for that solution. They're willing to pay for it, right? So we push problems that are now created by being problem aware, meaning every solution that we sell technically creates another problem, right? Like if you're getting on my webinar and I'm selling you a product, that product will create a lot of solutions, make you more money, whatever. But in a way, it will create more problems, meaning you have more money, you have to manage more things. You know what I mean? You have more leads, you have to spend more time talking to people on sales calls, etc. So quick example here is like, if I fixed your marketing system with my product, let's say you bought a product that fixed your marketing system, that means you're going to have more leads, which means you're not going to have enough time to follow up with all of them, which means that's another problem. A solution would be an automated reply system, right? So like, even though I'm giving you a solution to a current problem, fixing your marketing system, it's going to create more results, more leads, which will create more problems, too little time to follow up, which will create more solutions that can sell you like an automated reply system. So I'll give you an example. Here's basically what we did. We had a product that helps you leverage money better in real estate. So basically it allows you to get a credit line, go use this credit line to help other people with their transactions, not have to find your own deals, and then you're good to go. Problem is it will take up a lot of outreach time to find these people that have the deals, to be able to transact with them, etc. So what we thought was a good idea was a product that teaches you how to hire and manage VAs, right? Because we don't want to do the work ourselves. We want to offset it to VAs. And so basically that's what we sold. We sold a VA training product, right? And so here's kind of what the results were. So we split test the pricing, which I would highly recommend you always do. We tested it at $197 and $297 as an upsell. And basically on the 197, 75% of people took it. On the 297, 62% of people took it. Now, you might say, oh, wow, 62%, that's a lot less than 75. But if you consider the fact that it's 50% more expensive, that is an insane jump. That means at 62% for $300, we're making way more money at 75% at $200. And I'll kind of show you what those numbers look like. But what we noticed was people wanted something else more than they wanted to hire and train VAs. It doesn't seem like, it didn't seem like that's what they really wanted, even though we're getting a 75% take rate, 62% take rate. The problem is we weren't charging that much money. So what is something else that's more attractive for them that they would pay triple as much for? They wanted more leads. Okay. So what we did was we basically ran a survey to our current audience, and we realized they just were worried about making their next dollar. They weren't sitting here worrying about how to scale a team and remove themselves from time, all that stuff, etc. So what we did was we introduced a different product. So now we reframed it, right? Our original product that helps you leverage money better in real estate creates a problem. Now you need to get more leads to fulfill on this new strategy that you've learned. The solution is a product that teaches you how to get more leads and therefore have more business. But that creates another problem, right? Which is I'm going to be so busy now with lower level tasks, meaning reaching out to people, et cetera, which then creates a better solution for our VA product, which is how to hire and manage VAs so that you don't have to do the busy work and you can make more money. So basically what we did was we inserted a middle offer between the VA offer and the actual webinar. So webinar, you buy the webinar product. Then the first offer is what we call limitless lead flow, which is a product all on a sales letter. You can see here on the right. We didn't sell it through a video. It's just text explaining all the importance of getting new leads and getting deal flow and how important it's going to be, and that it's actually going to be the lifeblood of your business. Check out what happened here. So once we implemented this upsell for $9.97, 40% of people took it at $9.97. So let me run the math here on the right side. You can see at $197, we're getting 75%, which means for every 1,000 sessions, we would get 148K. At $297 for the VA product, we're getting 62%, which results in about 183K. So better than the 75% for the $197. But at 1,000 sessions, at $1,000, at 40% conversion rate, we're doing almost $400,000. We're talking almost triple what the $197 was from the same upsell, which is absolutely insane. All we did was just survey our audience and understand what they really wanted more, charging more for that thing and upselling it. So basically what we did eventually was we just stacked all the upsells, right? So why not stack them all? So you can see here in February, a limitless lead flow upsell, 39% of people took it. That made us $177,000 almost. And then you can see after, then they get the VA upsell for $297, which brought us another $29,000. So you're talking an additional $200,000 in February. No coaching time required, no additional ad spend, no more emails sent, nothing. This is just from the upsells that we're making on the back end. That $200,000 covers most of our advertising costs for the month of February. I showed you guys on the screen earlier, it was like $320,000 of cost. So you're telling me that my upsells alone covered the cost of all those things. So that's why it's so important to problem push on your upsells to figure out what problems is your product actually creating and what other things do people need solved by buying that product, and how can I stack those things on top of each other. And then step 3, how can I get the audience to think as highly as possible about the host of the webinar, and how can I get that done in the shortest amount of time? So just keep in mind, webinars on Saturday. If people are registering Monday through Friday, I don't have that much time to create authority, right? So we've less than a week to do that, and we need them to want to show up for this live training more than anything else, right? This is a Saturday. People might have soccer games to go to. They might have sports to watch. They might want to go to the gym. They might want to go to a restaurant, date with their wife, their friends. That's the day to do so. So we need them to want this more than that, right? So a couple of ways we create authority, and I'll show you exactly how, but we do this all through our email sequences leading up to the event. So we're basically hyping up the speaker and showing different things that the speaker's done and why they're a credible speaker. So for example, podcast testimonials work awesome. Authoritative PR, if he was published by Forbes or he had an article written about him from Bigger Pockets, which is a big real estate authority, right, in his space. We want to send people to those things. We want to show them how valuable he is, and then other valuable training. So what I like to do there is I like to put things on like a Google Drive link and send them like in an email Google Drive link, basically showing exactly what it is that he's teaching, or like another training about something else that's super valuable. But because it's on a Google Drive and not on YouTube, people take it as more valuable because they feel like it's not public information, right? So they're more inclined to actually watch it. And it's been a really cool effect. So if they're watching something beforehand and something super valuable to them already, you can bet that they're going to show up on Saturday to watch this person live and see what he's going to talk about. So here's an example. Here's a bunch of YouTube videos on the channel. You can see the one highlighted with a red line has 35,000 views. Right now, it's probably closer to 40. And you can see all the videos around it, 3K, 2.7, 4.1, 4.5, 1.6, 5, 2, nowhere near 35. And that's because up to the webinar, I'm actually sending emails to people, pushing them to this video on YouTube, which is like a podcast interview of how someone is doing $100,000 a month using this Gator method that's going to be taught on Saturday. And so people are watching this. They're not learning exactly how to do it, but they're learning that it's possible. They're seeing other people talking about it. They're understanding that this is a real thing. This is valuable. And I know someone who's making 100K a month from it right now. I might as well attend and see if it's going to be something that I want to invest in. So that's a pretty cool thing that we do. That's really increased our show rates, which is really, all that matters in webinars is like cost per lead, the show rate of the leads, and the percentage of people that you close on the webinar, right? And all those things are kind of covered in that. So bonus, here's how to squeeze the most juice out of the same orange. I got 2 cool bonuses for you guys. One, this is the sickest one I can think of that I don't think anyone else is doing. I've showed this to other people that are super advanced that have been doing this for decades. And they're so failed payment automation. So basically, here's a screenshot from Stripe. You can see how many payments have failed. 1.9 million almost dollars of money that's just failed. Not even like refunded, reimbursed, disputed, failed. Just like literally people trying to pay on the webinar that couldn't get their card to go through for whatever reason. 1.9 million failed. So basically, what we did was we create a fake forwarded email from the person who's doing the webinar sent to his team, and then their team is forwarding it to the person who watched it. So let me explain. So in this webinar, it's done by Pace Morby, right? So we create an email that's formatted just like a forwarded email. So this is on a Google Doc, but if you were to put in an email, you can just pull up an email that someone's forwarded to you. You can see how like their forward email looks different. It's in italics, etc. That's how we format it. So in this case, from Pace to Travis, who's like the community manager, can you help me take care of Eddie Maalouf? Let's just use my name. Hey, Travis, just been going over the attendee list from this past weekend. I noticed there was a problem processing Eddie Maalouf's payment. Can you contact them and make sure we've done everything possible to give them access to Gator? It'd be a shame if it was just a technical glitch or something, blah, blah, blah. And then what it looks like is Travis is forwarding Pace's email, the guy who spoke, the guy who's like so renowned now because we've sent an entire week of building him up, etc. We're now forwarding this email from Travis, this is all fake, to the person who attended the webinar and didn't buy. So, hey, it's Travis from Pace Morby's team. Pace personally dropped me this note to touch base about giving you access to Gator. See, as there was a problem processing your payment. This happens, but there's usually a good reason for it. Sometimes it's just about calling your card issuer and sorting things out. If you've been in touch, try again here. If there's still a problem, here's the key. If there's still a problem or there's something else you need help with, then just hit reply and let me know. We'll see what we can do to get you in. And this leaves it open for negotiating, right? Some people just can't make the full payment. They need a split pay option that's different, or they need to do something else to be able to work it out, or they're a better fit for like a lower ticket product. What it allows them to do is to basically respond back to the team and give them their concerns that's not letting them get in. And the team can overcome objections and collect that money instead of just having failed payments that basically went out the door. Because these are people that tried to pay and the payment bounced, whether it was their bank, whether it was their balance. There's so many things that could have happened, but they tried to transact. So this is the highest intent of a buyer that we have. And then number two, bonus, this is a little simpler. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but basically some people need more urgency and they need to be introduced to you. And some people already know all of that and you can't talk to them both the same. So if we're running ads to cold traffic, we want a different page. If we want ads for warm traffic, we want a different page. So let me give you an example. Both the pages will look the same, but for warm traffic, we're not going to talk about the speaker as much because they already know who he is. They're on our list, etc. So we're not going to talk about pace. We're going to talk about what the training is going to cover. We're going to talk about all the topics we're going to go over, etc. On the other hand, if it's someone who's cold traffic, who's never heard of us, I want to spend a lot of effort on this page introducing the speaker, showing that he has a TV show, showing all the people that he's coached, all the real estate that he owns, etc. Because this is cold traffic and I want to treat it differently. I want to introduce it differently. I'll have a different level of FOMO around it, etc. That page is like, this is a one-time live training, etc. Whereas on the warm page, hey, I'm going live this Saturday. It's a lot more casual because I don't need to be as aggressive. So with that being said, I hope that was helpful for all of you guys. I hope you guys actually use these strategies to help you inside of your webinars, inside of your online businesses. We've done this for dozens of businesses. And if you guys have any other questions that I'm not able to answer in the next couple of minutes before our time is up, feel free to scan this, message me on Instagram, and I'd love to help wherever.
That was an amazing session. And Eddie just opened up his kimono and shared everything that he's got.
Thanks so much, Natalie. I appreciate it.
Thank you
Do
so
we have
much
time
for
for
joining me
questions
today.
or is that the end of our session?
It is the end of the session. I do thank you for your time. It's been absolutely my pleasure. Everyone do check out Eddie's profile, connect with him, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Take care.
Everyone, I am looking forward to seeing you in the next session.